welcome to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This, our first episode of 2022, Season 4! Yay! I'm Juliet, the daughter.
And as always, I'm Kevin, the dad.
Happy New Year, everyone. We hope you're doing all right. And we are continuing our tradition, well, after Season 1 anyway, of starting off the new year by covering a female pop artist. And today, we're talking about Lily Allen. So, Dad, what do we need to know?
Well, first, I didn't know that was our tradition.
Well, after we did the Beatles, I think for Season 2 we did the Spice Girls, then Season 3 we did Lizzo, and now for Season 4 we're doing Lily.
Okay, works for me.
All right,
this is what we need to know. Lily Rose Beatrice Allen was born May 2nd, 1985 in Hammersmith, West London. Her dad is actor-comedian Keith Allen. Her mom is film producer Alison Owen. At 3, she appeared in an episode of The Comic Strip Presents, which her father had co-written. He left the family when Lily was 4.
Ooh.
Lily attended 13 schools and was expelled from more than a few for smoking and drinking. When she was 11, Lily was noticed by future soprano composer Rachel Santesso, who overheard her singing Oasis's Wonderwall. She gave Lily singing lessons. Lily also learned piano, violin, guitar, and trumpet.
Wow.
She dropped out of school at 15. She met her first manager, George Lamb, in Ibiza, and started submitting demos, but was rejected by several labels. Lily said this is probably due to her drinking and being the daughter of Keith Allen, who had a reputation for being inappropriately outrageous.
Uh-oh.
But she was able to use her dad's connections to get signed to London Records in 2002. But the label lost interest when the exec who signed her left. She started writing songs and worked in a small studio with production team Future Cut in 2004. She signed with Regal Recordings in 2005. They gave her £25,000, that's $33,000 in US dollars, to produce an album, but did not provide much support for it as the label was concentrating on Gorillaz and Coldplay, who will stop making music in 2025. Guys, feel free to move that deadline date up.
Ooh, one of my followers is a huge Coldplay fan. Hi, Haley.
Sorry, Haley. I call him as I see him. Lily created a MySpace account. Hey, it was 2005. Posted her demos and got noticed. Her label gave her more creative control, and All Right Still was released in July 2006. Smile came out in the U.S. in September. Entertainment Weekly named All Right Still as one of the top 10 albums of 2006, even though it wouldn't be released in the U.S. until January 2007. It made it to number 20 on the Billboard 200 albums list. Lily would go on to perform at the Concert for Diana in 2007 and the Benefit for War Child, an international child protection agency. At the 2008 Glamour Awards, she showed up intoxicated, wearing a dress of decapitated Bambis, and had an on-stage expletive-laced exchange with Elton John.
Wow. Also, that dress was before Lady Gaga's Kermit head dress, so maybe we know where Gaga got it from.
Could be. Her follow-up album, It's Not Me, It's You, was scheduled to be released in 2008, but pushed back almost a year to February 2009. Since then, she's put out 2 more albums, Sheezus in 2014 and No Shame in 2018. In 2010, she had her first child, a girl, with Bill the Decorator Sam Cooper. They married in 2011, had a second girl, and divorced in 2015 after Lily's memoirs came out in 2014, in which she wrote she had sex with female escorts and had an affair with Liam Gallagher from Oasis.
Wow.
She married actor David Harbour in September 2020 in Las Vegas, and they got married by an Elvis impersonator, and this is where burgers and fries was served at the reception.
And Dad's like, that's an option?
I am down with that. In October 2020, Lily worked with sex tech company Womanizer to create her own sex toy called Liberty.
No way!
Now, I found this out when I went to her website, lilyallen.com, and it was something, all I saw fast was Womanizer, and I thought, oh, I wonder if she's covering the Britney song. Clicked on it.
That's what I thought, too. I thought there was a Britney connection.
Clicked on it and was redirected to, in the words of George Takei, oh my.
Oh my God, the first thing when you Google this is you see the hashtag well, I can't say the word because YouTube will take us down for explicit sexual content, but you can probably figure out what it is.
I can do it by, hashtag I can do it by myself. Thank you very much. I need a moment to myself.
Hashtag treating your body like it's an amusement park. I'm looking at the toy right now, and one thing that concerns me is that it kind of, if you were to turn it one way, looks like a stapler. I do not associate those times with staplers, so I feel uncomfortable, but I think I know what it's supposed to do.
Maybe it should come with a staple remover. Anyway, she's moved on to just having like her stuff on Facebook, like with what's going on in her life.
Yeah.
Okay, now in 2021, she starred in the play 222, A Ghost Story on the West End.
Cool.
And she got really good reviews.
Nice.
She is eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2031.
You think she'll get in?
We'll find out in 9 years. I'll be 68. Anyway, All Right Still is mostly pop music with influences of reggae and ska, which came about courtesy of one Joe Strummer, who was a close friend of Lily's dad. He'd bring over mixtapes of Brazilian music, reggae, and ska. Now, the album debuted at number 2 on the UK albums chart. It would go on to sell 1.1 million copies in the UK alone.
Whoa.
It sold 2.5 million overall. It went gold in the US. For the most part, it got positive reviews, though Stylist magazine called it pop music for people who hate pop music.
What?
And in the words of Tommy Smothers, I don't know what that means. All Right Still was nominated for a Best Alternative Album Grammy in 2008, but the White Stripes would go on to win that for Icky Thump.
Huh.
Now, as for me, I borrowed All Right Still from the library maybe about 4 years ago, maybe 5.
Because you heard of her? Or just
Yeah, it was just like, well, okay, I should find out what this is all about. And I liked the album so much, I wound up buying my own copy. Now, at the time that this all happened, I was working in receiving at Whole Foods and would go in on Sundays from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m., and there was not a lot going on. And basically, I'd have the place to myself. So to help pass time, I would bring in CDs because there was an old CD player at the desk, which actually still kind of worked. And it would just help pass the time. So one Sunday morning, I brought in All Right Still, and as it was playing, PBS Gen came by.
Garrett's favorite.
Which stands for Personal Benefits Specialist.
Yeah.
And she just stopped in her tracks and looked at me and said, "Are you listening to Lily Allen?" I said, "Yeah, I really like her." She's like, "I do too, but I can't believe you're listening to Lily Allen." She was just stunned because, here's this guy in his 50s who's just grooving to Lily Allen.
Okay, who was
more
stunned? Jen when you told her you listened to Lily Allen, or Andy when you told him you listened to Spice Girls? Because you said he looked at you like you bought him a dog and then shot it.
Jen was definitely more stunned. Andy was more depressed.
Oh, dear.
Sorry, Lily, and thanks, Jen. All right, so let's dive into this, shall we?
First track, Smile. Okay, before we talk about this, I have a question. What was the song that they played in Community that Abed dances to that's a Lily Allen song?
I have no idea. I would have to look up the episode.
Okay, because I thought it was this one, but if there's any Community fans in the comments, please let us know.
I'd say it was probably this one because it was her biggest hit in the States, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. So this is the Lily Allen song I think you put on my breakup mixtape called What the Fudge. Yeah, which is a breakup playlist for when you're not mopey and brokenhearted, but when you're angry and you never want to see that piece of shit again. Anyway, this song is very relatable. At first you're brokenhearted, and sometimes your mental health is wrecked too, which, again, relatable, one of the reasons I went back into therapy. Next, with the help of friends, you start to feel normal. Then comes the third phase, which is triggered by the ex coming back to you on their hands and knees. The third phase is the sadistic phase, where you delight in all their pain because now it's their turn to suffer. Sometimes you feel bad for them, and in the early days you feel like caving in, but then you go back to smiling. And it doesn't matter if the smile is from inner peace or sadistic glee, you're happy. They're not. That's all that matters. And it's impressive that Lily can convey that entire trajectory of emotions in a song that's less than 3 minutes. Bravo.
Yeah, poor Lily. Actually fudged over by her boyfriend thanks to the girl next door. Like you said, she goes through this process. It takes her a while to get over it. Her mental health was wrecked, but her friends got her through it. But then he wants her back, which gets her laughing. He calls her on the phone so he can have, according to Lily, a little whine and a moan. And I think that phrase just emasculates the shit out of the guy. Because not very manly to have a little whine and a moan. And, you know, when she sees him crying in person, all she can do is smile. It's like, you had me, you lost me, she's moved on. But I think she's also like very classy about it. Like just like smiling as opposed to walking up to the person going, and
flipping the bird, yeah.
Yeah. And she keeps us moving too with a slow reggae, ska, dance hall, whatever you want to call it, groove. And those la la la's are quite catchy. And it could be something where like she sees him and she smiles and she just goes la 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 as she's walking away. Great opening track.
Yeah, next track, Knock 'Em Out. I love that opening piano hook. A song everyone who's ever been approached by a stranger in a bar can relate to. Someone predatory or otherwise asks you for your number, and you're trying to tell them to piss off in the nicest possible way since you're in public, which sounds very stereotypically British. Maybe in The Only Way is Essex, aka Towie, they'd clock a guy in the face. But I don't know. Hey, English listeners, because I know we have some from the UK, what are some towns where a lady would scratch a guy's eyes out in a pub and you wouldn't bat an eye? Let me know. Anyways, the music is kind of catchy, and Lily uses the studio really well to create a deep, distorted voice of a man that kind of sounds like a creature that crawled out from under a rock. The excuses are great and kind of funny to the point where even Lily bursts into laughter. Actually, I'm getting married. My house is on fire. I have herpes. No, wait, syphilis. Hey, you really want to freak him out, though? Say you have gonorrhea. You're welcome.
Yes, the nightclub scene, and it's a jungle out there, and it seems like it's harsh on both ends. Because she's saying, "You gonna buy us a drink then?" And the reply is, "No, but I was thinking of buying one for your friend." Ouch.
Oh.
And yeah, Lily keeps getting asked for her phone number, and no, she lost her phone. No, she's pregnant. Her house is on fire. She's got herpes. She's got syphilis, and on and on and on. And I gotta say, every time I listen to this song, I think, I'm so glad I don't have to go through that anymore, because it takes me back to the times that I did go to clubs, and it was just awkward because it's the last place an introvert should be. And you're just like standing there, and it's like, I remember this one time I went with Joe Ryan. You gonna ask someone to dance? I don't know. You gonna ask someone to dance?
I don't know.
You? Why did we come here? No. I've only done that once where it was like, the hell what I'm going to ask someone. This was on the Florida trip I went on with Mike and some of his friends from Bryant College, spring break thing. And we're at this club and we're just all standing there. I thought, screw it. See that girl over there? I'm going to go ask her to dance. And I did. Danced a couple of times. That was it. I just left. I came back. Man, you thought I would have won. You thought I had won World War II single-handedly. Oh my God, they were just like, can't believe you asked her to dance. Like, well, this is what we came here for.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, for me, with clubbing, it's like, I don't have enough social batteries in order to make it through a whole night. So it's like, I got offered once, hey, do you want to go to a club? And I was like, well, maybe, I don't know. But on the inside, I'm like, no, I'd rather stay at home and watch a movie or read a book. Like, I'll go out to restaurants and sure, I'll go out to like a bar or something. Like, maybe I'll go to the arcade in Providence if I'm with a group of my guy friends. But like, clubbing and I have to dance and the music is loud and everyone's drunk. It sounds like hell.
Well, the best thing to do is, if you can, it's like, go with someone you can dance with, which I was able to do actually a couple of times with my friend Miss back in the 80s, where we go every great once in a while, we just dance, have a little something to drink. It was fun. Anyways, for this song, I love that piano. It's just so catchy. And I love the drums too. It's kind of like they sound like they're out of time with the rest of the song, but they're really not. It just keeps everything together.
Is that a drum machine or drums?
It's probably a drum machine.
Yeah,
I like to think they've got real people. I know for some songs they actually do. There's a long list of musician credits.
All right, next track. LDN, not to be confused with LND, the acronym for Love Never Dies. This one stands for, I think, Lovely Day Now, as in Lovely Day Now, isn't it? Oh, am I wrong?
It stands for London. That sound that you just heard was my daughter's head hitting the tabletop.
Dang, all right, I thought it was being... Well, that's what I get for trying to be smart. Anyway, this is a love letter to London, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It can be a beautiful day, and you still see a pimp with a sex worker or a little old lady getting mugged outside of Tesco. But Lily's a city girl. Why would she want to be anywhere else? And even though her car's gone since her license got suspended, she gets to experience the city even more up close and away while riding on her bike. Makes me wonder if she was at all fazed by Vegas when she got married, and the answer is probably not.
Probably not.
Which, by the way, if you haven't seen her wedding photos, Google them. She had In-N-Out Burger for dinner, which, again, as we said, is genius.
And I am jealous.
Yeah.
I am so jealous.
Again, Dad's like, that's an option? Why didn't no one tell me? You could have had a burger bar at your wedding and a french fry bar.
Oh, I want to get married again to your mom.
Just have a do-over.
Yeah, just so we can have that.
Anyway.
And I think she would stand there and cry.
Oh, dear.
I could say, well, we did it your way the first time.
Let's do it my way now.
So, yeah, Lily's riding her bike through London because, and I quote, the filth took away my license. I'm thinking,
Lily Allen said, hey, cab.
I bet they had a good reason.
Well, knowing Lily, maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, she describes the sights, which seem nice at first, but then she takes a second look, and what appears to be innocent really isn't. Like you said, like, you know, that man and that woman, oh, yeah, it's a pimp and his crack whore, and, you know, seeing the woman who's, oh, they're going to help with her groceries. No, they stole her stuff.
Yeah.
But the music is so happy, and the chorus is irresistible. And I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think she may be singing it sarcastically, though. Sun is in the sky, oh, why would I want to be anywhere else? But it also reminds me of Samuel L. Johnson's observation about London. When a man is tired of London, he is tired of life, for there is in London all that life can afford.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. So, it got me on this tangent about, like, the world capitals. Like, is London the European New York City?
You could argue that. I mean, New York City has Times Square. London has Piccadilly Circus. In terms of how they're set up. But I don't know. I kind of hate New York. Because it's just, you know what, I've only gone there to see Broadway shows, but when I go in there, I always want to leave as soon as possible. Because it just smells, and it's noisy, and it's loud.
Well, during this, while we were doing our week prep and whatever, I just finished reading Tina Fey's Bossy Pants in like 4 hours. And she writes about having relatives to come to New York City for Christmas instead of her family going down to Pennsylvania. She's like, New York City, Christmas time, it'll be great. But the relatives point out stuff to Tina that Tina and other New Yorkers maybe just ignore or just, you know, don't think of anymore. Because it's probably a survival tactic for them. And she has to admit, yeah, I guess there is too much dog shit in the streets. And yeah, that guy probably shouldn't be playing with himself in public.
Yeah.
But it's still looked on as the greatest city in the world, though London disagrees.
Oh, yeah.
They do.
Yep.
And maybe Tokyo, and maybe Paris.
Paris. I'm trying to think of what else would be in there. Maybe some of the cities that are in Dubai, because they're very modern.
Maybe Rome, too.
Maybe Rome, or maybe Hong Kong, or maybe even Macau, since it's the gambling capital of the world.
Okay.
Anyway, next track. Everything's Just Wonderful.
Is it?
Okay, I have an opinion here. They should have found a way to use this song in The Good Place, because it would fit their mantra of, welcome, everything's fine. Hearing this song in 2021 is kind of comforting, because if you still feel off, that's okay. I know it's 2022 now, but I wrote these notes like a couple of days ago. No one is feeling normal right now because we are in the cursed timeline where everything is screwed and the times are unprecedented. So this song makes me feel better, because if Lily, a successful pop star, is feeling it, then it shows that feeling screwed is very human. And I can almost see the sarcastic smile she has plastered on her face when people ask, how's things? And she says, everything's just wonderful, while screaming internally, ah, same.
Yep, everything's fine. Lily tries to convince herself in the chorus. Meanwhile, in the verses, nope, life is crap, or a lie, or a crappy lie. Because no, those jeans are not going to make you look like Kate Moss, okay? And there's like so much noise out there that tells you you need this or you need that to be happy. And I think that's why I look at her viewpoint of this song. It's like, there's like, you know, all this stuff that's telling you, hey, get this, you'll feel great. And it's like, you'll feel great for like maybe about 5 seconds until you're looking on for like, well, what's the next thing that I think is going to make me happy? Like a $7,000 pair of shoes. More on that later.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like, oh my God, I'm going to sound like such an old fart. But a lot of the stuff out there that, you know, the media, whoever tells you think you need, when it comes down to it,
You don't.
really don't. I mean, the major things for needs are food, clothing, and shelter, as lame as that
Water.
sounds. Water. Okay,
Yep.
we can do that too. Yeah. I like how there's like a lounge music. The way it starts off, it's like, dun, 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 dun. But it's lounge music with a beat for the choruses that goes against the menacing beats for the verses. I mean, it gets happy, it gets dark, and kind of goes back and forth.
Yeah. Next track, Not Big. Hello, 911. I'd like to report a murder. Wow, Lily knows how to break a man, and I love her for it. I can imagine how many people felt seen when this song came out and cackled madly as Lily brought this person to their knees. My inner pettiness is thriving listening to this song, just mwah. I'm not even going to spoil the lyrics for this. You have to listen to this song yourself. All I could say is, if your partner texts you this song to your inbox, then there's no hope for you. That relationship's over. Goodbye.
Yeah. Yep, it's another breakup, but this time Lily's spreading the news about how he wasn't big, and yep, that's exactly what you think it means.
Yep.
And she also tells us, without giving too much away, she's going to work her way through his mates.
Yay.
Oh, yeah, yay. And like you said, I mean, the lyrics are just so withering. It's like you have to hear it for yourself. And I want to throw out something here to our listeners.
Okay.
Okay, listeners, there's a saying out there that it ain't the meat, it's the motion. True or false? Your opinion.
Let us know.
Yes. Anyway, musically, this some little hooks or whatever you want to call them, some little moments kind of remind me of the Specials. So there's a definite ska influence permeating this song, and I love it. It's just a catchy song. So we've got, like, for me, 5 catchy songs in a row. We're doing great.
And then, Friday night. So Lily and her friends are trying to get in the club on Friday night, and some of the rich bitches are trying to get her kicked out, to which she says, if you're going to play with fire, you're going to get burned. This isn't my favorite on the album so far. The music is catchy, but this feels like she's holding back when she could be way more venomous, as we heard on the previous track. Maybe it's supposed to be a breather, but even still, I don't think people cite this as this song as a favorite out of Lily Allen's material.
Oh, I love this song. It's so menacing. And I think it just sets up really well what's going on, what she's describing. It's another crappy night at the club, but Lily and her friends get in line at 11:15, but don't get inside till 1:45 in the morning. So that's like 2.5 hours of waiting to get inside this place. Now, according to Andrew Corrigan, also known as Lived in Great Britain All My Life, on Quora, clubs close at 2 or 3 a.m. out there.
Ooh.
So basically, they've got 15 minutes to get everything done, or an hour and 15 minutes. Either way, it's not a lot of time.
Yeah.
And so they don't have enough time, but Lily's getting shit from other nightclub ladies, telling security to check her shoes, getting pushed around. But Lily, she knows how to push back. And I think it's like, she's not gonna, well, maybe she would, like, get all, like, I'm gonna beat your butt into the ground. Maybe it would get physical.
Maybe stab you with the heels of her shoes.
But it's kind of like she's more about giving the warning that, you know, if you come after me, I will come after you. And kind of leaves it at that. This song reminds me of Ghost Town by the Specials. And there's something about it that has that song's eerie vibe to it. And it doesn't sound like it 100%, but it's there, that feeling, that feeling of menace. And speaking of the Specials, you should check out another one of their songs called Nightclub for another point of view of that scene. And, you know, it's like all these songs are like, nightclubs suck, but yet these places are always full. I don't get it.
People just want to feel something, anything.
Yep. Now, the thing about this song is there is a parental sticker on the album cover, and she does drop, like, F-bombs here and there and what have you. But this song is still bleeped out no matter what version you get, because I guess even the C word is still off limits.
They say it more in Britain, though, than we do in the U.S. So maybe it's just the producer censoring it.
Well, from what I was reading, you know, I guess there've been, like, remixes or whatever. Maybe it's just for the United States. I don't know. but I guess you can drop F-bombs and everything else, but...
Well, just because it's been used in a derogatory sense. Some people who identify as women are trying to reclaim it. Some don't. Just personal taste. Anyways, next track. Shame for you. Someone's been poking the bear with a stick thinking it's a good idea. A womanizer and all-around loser wants to get with Lily, to which she says, "You must be joking." She also says that if he shows up on her doorstep again like some suicidal poet dandy, she'll sick her brothers on him. To which I say, good for her, like the Lucille Bluth meme from Arrested Development where she's unwrapping the cupcake. Good for her. I do love how Lily ends this song with the conveying her disgust as opposed to the moans this man would rather have her be making. Still, though, I feel like the song isn't as good as Not Big, and I feel like maybe Lily made a mistake placing it in the album where she did, because there's kind of nowhere to go after that burst of anger and pettiness. Every track after that feels ho-hum in comparison.
Well, maybe there's like different degrees of
Pettiness?
Or not exactly breaking up, because this really isn't a breakup song. It's like this guy's on the make, spreading his seed.
Yeah.
But Lily is having none of that, like Twitter. To the point where, like you said, if he shows up at her house, her brothers will beat him up. And the best lines are, "Oh my gosh, you must be joking me if you think that you'll be poking me."
Yeah.
I think this song has a nice slow groove in those catchy as anything. And I love this song. And I think it's like a different, it's different from Not Big, because like Not Big is like, it's the breakup song. And this Shame for You was like, don't even think you're getting, 10 feet near me.
Yeah. Next track, Littlest Things, perfectly captures the bittersweetness a person would feel at the end of a breakup for someone they once had feelings for. We're all guilty of looking back on the times when things weren't so bad, which is very often at the beginning. Every relationship has a honeymoon phase. It's what happens after the honeymoon is over that counts. And for Lily, things haven't gone well, so she can look back on simpler times, hoping they can go back to before when she knows they can't. If I have one complaint about this song, it's that the piano doesn't sound good, and has the sound of when someone plays too loud and blows the speakers, but a very pretty track otherwise that does the job.
So after 7 catchy songs, we get this. Proof that nothing's perfect. And I guess we need to slow down things? I don't know. But Lily spends the song cataloging the little things that she misses when she was with her guy, drinking tea in bed, watching DVDs, just basically hanging out. And she sings, "I know it sounds lame," and well, it is. But it's not her fault. I blame producer Mark Ronson. And like he has this...
David Bowie's Mark Ronson.
No, that's Mick Ronson.
Mick Ronson. My bad.
Still currently dead, I think.
Yeah.
He has a reputation for being a great producer. Like the stuff he did with Amy Winehouse and Bruno Mars sounds great. So I was expecting something more and better than what I got here.
And what did we get?
What did we get?
What did we get? I'm asking you.
Oh, we got blah. And like you said, lousy piano sound. But I also think it could be something like the first thing I thought was like Phil Spector. I mean, with his own artists, great, he knew what to do. But then
other people.
Let It Be, not the greatest Beatles album in the world. Then the stuff he did with Leonard Cohen and the Ramones, the fans hated that stuff.
What about All Things Must Pass?
Now, the thing is, I was going to come back to that. With All Things Must Pass and Imagine and John Lennon Plastic Ono Band, I think that John and George were more in control than Phil was.
Okay.
Whereas in the other situations, Phil was running the show.
Makes sense.
And I think maybe John might have learned that from the Let It Be sessions that, all right, I'm going to have to put the foot down.
Yeah. Next track, Take What You Take. This is a song for anyone who's ever been given unsolicited advice. The pattern of the song is a verse of someone putting their 2 cents in Lily's business. Next is the pre-chorus with Lily telling these people to shut up. And then the chorus is Lily giving her own advice. Just do whatever the hell you want, as long as it's real and true to you. I'm surprised this isn't more of a millennial or Gen Z anthem in the generational war against the boomers, because I think it's great at representing the culture clash. A good anthem for saying, I'm going to march to the beat of my own drum, and no one else's.
And we're back in catchy songland again. The older generation, what do they know? Those goddamn boomers. Oh.
You're one.
Wait. I'm kind of like on the tail end. 1963 for those of you out there who need to know. But for me, it's kind of like it'll come around when the generation after her holds hers in contempt. There's just no escape. It's the way of the world. Sorry. In the US and the UK anyway, it's more of an Eastern versus Western society thing because I did a lot of research about which cultures respect our elders. Turns out the Eastern ones do, the Western ones don't.
Yes.
So that's the way it goes. So I'm thinking of moving to like Japan, China, maybe Japan.
Maybe Korea.
But I think everyone goes through a phase of thinking and knowing that they know everything.
Yeah.
Especially through the teen years, because Mark Twain put it best. When I was a boy of 14, my father was so ignorant I could hardly stand to have the old man around. But when I got to be 21, I was astonished at how much the old man had learned in 7 years.
I mean, I know nothing.
I know less.
What's less than nothing? It's negative nothing.
Negative. Hey, buddy, I give you negative.
Get out of here. Anyway, next track. Friend of mine. I miss the sound of a tuning radio. I didn't realize how much I do. But I do. Because, like, I heard her going through the stations, and I was like, aww. Anyway, when Lily says friend of mine, it's with the same disdain as when Mycroft refers to Sherlock as brother mine. I feel like this is a friendship a person would have in middle school, where you're not really friends, but you band together because no one else is hanging out with you. So you pretend the insults don't hurt until the two of you reach a boiling point and you finally say enough is enough. The sad thing is when people still allow these friendships to continue as adults because it feels safer than having no friends and starting from scratch. So to anyone who might be in this situation, dump those friends now. You don't need them. Good song, but might take you back to some unpleasant memories. Wonder if we'll see the same in Big Mouth as they continue to grow up over the course of the series.
It's better to be alone than lonely.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So Lily lets a soon-to-be ex-friend of hers have it. Like, I think it's like she's seen her since they went through school together, but this other person hasn't changed since school, hasn't grown up, keeps chatting shit, spreading herself around the neighborhood like peanut butter. And that's kind of it. It's catchy ska/reggae, even though I forget that this song is on here. It's like when it comes on, like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that one. Yeah, okay, it's all right. It's I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. Next track, Alfie. So when I first read the title, I was like, did they ask Lily Allen to write a song for the What's It All About Alfie remake? Because that's what I thought. And I was like, why do we need that remake? The original was fine, but I don't see it as a story that needs updating, and that was the film that made Michael Caine famous. We don't need one with Jude Law. Anyways, I quickly learned the song is about Lily's younger brother, Alfie, who spends all his time in his room smoking weed and playing computer games instead of getting a job or hell, even getting laid like he originally wanted. This song is Lily's way of saying, please get off your ass, but with a touch of musical whimsy since this is her younger brother, so the music is childlike. Not a bad song, but I hope it worked getting Alfie off his ass.
Well, she wrote this about her brother in 2006, and he was 20 years old at the time. She thought he'd be flattered, but listen to the lyrics, he wasn't.
He was pissed,
At all. I mean, if the Replacements hadn't already used the title Dope Smoking Moron, Lily could have used that for this song.
Yeah, but he's marijuana dope, yeah.
Yeah, she stopped performing the song out of respect for him. Plus, he did get his shit together playing Theon Greyjoy in Game of Thrones for...
No way, that's your brother?
Yeah.
Theon Greyjoy. I want to see if I recognize this guy. I never watched the show, but I've seen the actors. Oh, yeah, okay.
And he was in the first John Wick movie, so there.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, really.
Well, I'm sorry, dude. You're kind of immortalized by this, whether you want to be or not.
Either that or he heard the songs I'll Show Her.
Yeah.
And the song kind of starts off sounding like something straight out of Benny Hill before the drums kick in. You're like, which, I don't, is that an oboe? That sound? I don't know if that was an oboe or a bassoon. But
oboe's higher than a clarinet, I think.
Maybe it was a clarinet. But the thing was, I was looking on the musician credits, and I could not come across oboe at all. So maybe it's just a keyboard effect or something.
Oh, no way. He also did Equus. Oh, I hope his sister didn't see that one. I'm not going to tell you what the plot of Equus is. You got to Google it because YouTube
knowing
censors.
her, she probably would have stood up and started singing Not Big.
Lily, it's your brother. Oh, man. All right.
You're not a real horse there, pal.
Not hung like one. Anyway, next track.
Yes, please.
Nan, you're a window shopper. Or Nan. This song makes me grateful for the grandmothers I got. Lily's Nan is suspicious of everyone and bitter. But I'm not surprised she sees smiling teens as a threat based on what happened to the little old lady, and everything's just wonderful. And the best line is easily when Nan goes to pick up her prescription, the druggist throw in some KY to ease up the friction. Which, if you don't know what KY is, either one of two things. One, you're way too young to be listening to this show. Or two, you may be from another country because we have listeners from the UK and from Japan. So in that case, Google it because I'm not going to explain on YouTube and have this episode get taken down for explicit sexual content or whatever BS this website has in mind. Anyways, fun call-out song where you can tell Lily loves her Nan behind the eye rolls. I hope her Nan didn't hear this song.
If she did, it probably killed her.
Yeah.
Anyway, did you know that this song is a dead-on parody of 50 Cent's Window Shopper?
Really?
And yes, I listened to Fiddy's original. His song is about how some N-word is jealous because he can't afford the stuff that Fiddy can. Like $7,000 shoes.
Oh.
Watch the video. The opening is hilarious. It's 50 Cent's in there with some friend of his, and there's this, I think he's supposed to be Italian shoe sales guy, and all the guys say, shoes, shoes, shoes. It is hysterical.
Did 50 say anything about this?
I don't know. I don't know.
If someone does know, tell us in the comments.
So Lily opens up with a reversal of Fiddy's opening of the top feels so much better than the bottom. Because hers is, the bottom feels so much better than the top. So much better.
Positions. Yeah.
Because I think it's like on one hand she feels sorry for her grandmother, but on the other hand, she just proceeds to rip her a new one about how she lives her life. It's kind of cruel and hilarious in spots, like about the clipping coupons, buying all your Christmas presents by the time April rolls around.
Well, that's just smart.
And, you know, every time I go to the house, I have to show up in the clothes that you bought me from years ago.
And she smells like throat lozenges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And probably goes to, like, you know,
Bingo.
at the wedding reception, taking all the salt pallets and salt packets and condiment packets.
Hey, to be fair, I would do that too. You remember that scene in Kim's Convenience where Alma went into the fancy bathroom and she went, "Oh, towels!" And they said, "Those actually stay here." And she goes, "Oh, yeah, I knew that." And puts it back. But it's like, oh yeah, people do that all the time. Not just at weddings, but like, you know, free soap at the hotel, you know. Anyways.
My favorite line, though, is you only buy the paper just to cut out the coupons. You're saving 50p, but what do you need with tampons? Ouch. Yeah. It's a hilarious song.
Moving right past that, final track, Smile Revisited. Okay, I don't know why we needed this, because the words are the same.
Extra track.
The only differences are the sound quality and Lily singing by herself as opposed to having a couple of harmonies that are pronounced in the background. This is probably more for money, I'm guessing, and it kind of shows. And also, the audio quality is painful with headphones because every instrument, has that static that comes when something plays way too loud, and it just hurts.
Yeah.
So skip this one and listen to the original. Or if you do want to listen to this one, then don't listen to it with headphones. Play on speakers.
You know why it sounds the way it does?
Why?
Because Mark Ronson is twiddling the knobs again.
Ronson!
Yep. Now, for me, basically, this remix is just You Can't Hurry Love meets Walking on Sunshine. With the whole beat through the whole song. You can actually sing You Can't Hurry Love over it. Not a problem at all.
Maybe Lily should have done a cover of that instead.
I mean, it's not bad, but it sounds like he wasn't even trying.
Yeah.
The original version is so much better. But
And Lily deserves better, damn it.
yeah, it's a bonus track. It's an extra.
Yeah.
You know,
All
it's
right.
just something to fill the time.
Yeah.
On the disc, because you've got like 80 minutes of time on a disc, and let's fill it, which you probably really shouldn't.
Yeah,
unless
you don't
have
have to
something
fill
say.
those 80 minutes.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Overall, if you love catchy music, or if you're a 20-something who isn't willing to take shit from the world, listen to Lily Allen. My favorite songs are the early ones where she doesn't hold back, because everything after that feels anticlimactic. Maybe if the track order was rearranged, it would be a better album, but I still bow before her eviscerating abilities regardless.
All in all, I love this album. It's all the Lily I'll ever need, and maybe you too. It is catchy as anything, and there have been times where I listened to it once, twice, 4 times in a row is probably enough. But it's just, except for the Ronson tunes, the rest of it is just great, catchy, sing-along pop. You will not be disappointed in this album.
And I would also say, in addition to this album, definitely listen to Lily Allen's hit single, F You. It's a good song. All right. All right, as always, thank you for listening to the latest installment of My Dad Listens to This, our first episode of 2022. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. And just something quickly, I was looking up our stats for the YouTube's end-of-year statistics. So thank you to all our listeners in the U.S., the United Kingdom, and Japan. Thanks for finding us. It's really nice.
Arigato.
Arigato. All right, and for the UK listeners, thank you. All right. If you want to follow me on social media, I am on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and I also post the episodes there. And if you're friends with my dad and you want a specific episode, just email him and he'll email an episode right to your inbox. All right. As always, thank you for listening to another episode of My Dad Listens to This. Dad, anything you want to say before we log off?
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, everybody. Goodbye.